In this video, we will build a simple to-do list using Python FastAPI and RedisJSON. What is RedisJSON? RedisJSON is a high-performance NoSQL document store, which means it's similar to MongoDB. So it is faster than MongoDB and provides some extra functionality. And also, I will provide a link to sign up for Redis because they are running a promotion and you have a chance to win a Tesla. So go to redis.info/Antonio. I will provide this link in the description of this video and you have a chance to win a Tesla and $200 in credits. Now I will sign in with my account. So I logged in and now here let's create a new subscription. There is a free plan available and I will select AWS here and I will select Europe because I'm located in Europe. And the subscription name, I will call it database. And let's create this subscription. So I created this and now let's add a new database here. And the database name, I will call it Redis DB, and the modules here I will select Redis Search and RedisJSON. So RedisJSON is a database like MongoDB, and Redis Search provides functionalities similar to Elasticsearch. So it gives you a lot of search functionalities, and I think that should be it. So let's activate this database, and the database should be active by now. We should see a public endpoint when it's finished, and let's create the frontend. So we will not create the frontend in this tutorial, it will be pre-built. So I'll provide also this link in the description of this video. I'll copy this link and I'll clone the repository. So git clone the frontend, and I will go inside the folder, so to Redis frontend, and run npm install. Let's see if the database is ready. So it is ready. We have a public endpoint which we will use it in this tutorial, and that should be it for the database. Now for the frontend, we run npm install, run npm start, and the frontend should be ready, but it will not work because right now we don't have a backend and it will throw an error. So let's create the backend now. For the backend we will use FastAPI. Is a framework similar to Flask and is very easy to use. So I have an empty folder here in my project, and what I will do is I will create a Python file called main.py. I created this file and now let's install FastAPI in that project. Click tutorial user guide here and we should install this FastAPI and UVcorn. So I will open the terminal and run Python with pip. We will install FastAPI, and also we need to install UVcorn. So you may not need this Python 3 module. If you have directly installed pip, you may use directly like this. So I installed those packages. And now we will simply from FastAPI we need to import FastAPI, and we will create an app which is equal to FastAPI, and let's create our first endpoint. Our first endpoint will be a GET request, so app get /tasks, and we will define an asynchronous function, async def all, and we will return an empty array for the moment. So the good thing about FastAPI is that we can define asynchronous functions and we can await them just like JavaScript. Now we are ready to run this app. Simply open the terminal and run uvicorn main app. So main is this file here, and we will add also reload here, which this will wait for our changes, and when we make a change like I do now, it will restart it again. So it started on port 8000, and now our React frontend should be able to get this empty array here, but we still have a problem here because we didn't add the course functionality. So we have a course problem, and to solve the course problem we need to add an import here from FastAPI middleware course import, not 2 times import, my better, course middleware. So we imported this, and now we need to add this app, add middleware, and inside we need the course middleware that we imported. Then we need to allow our origin, so allow origins, which is this is an array of strings, and our origin that we want to allow is this localhost port 3000. I will add it here, and also we will allow methods, all of them, and headers, and that should be it. So let's see the terminal if we have any errors. So it has stopped. Let's start it again, and if we restart we should fix that problem. So maybe I need to remove the slash here, and it's working fine. So course is a problem that our front end will run on port 3000, and our backend will run on a different port, on port 8000, and our browsers will prevent that. If we add this middleware, we will bypass that problem. So we added an endpoint, but we return an empty array. Now we want to return data directly from the Redis cloud, from this Redis database. To do that, we need to install another package, RedisOM Python. So this is kind of an ORM for this Redis cloud and to our Python app, and it will provide some simple functionality that we need. So the package is RedisOM. Simply install pip install RedisOM like this. Already have installed it, and that should be it. Let's run again uvicorn, and now we are ready to create our connection and our first schema. So first let's import from RedisOM. We need to import get Redis connection, and let's connect to our database. So Redis DB, I'll call this variable like this, is equal to get Redis connection, and the values that we want to add here is the host, and the host for this, let's go to our Redis cloud. I'll copy this public endpoint and I'll paste it here, but we don't need the port, so I'll cut the port and I will remove this column here, because that will be another value, which is a port here, which is equal to the value that we cut. We need also 2 more values. The other one is the password. So we have a default user here and we have a default user password. So I'll copy this value and the password here is equal to my password. So don't use my credentials because I will remove this database after I finish this tutorial. And the last one is decode responses to true. And that's it. With this, we will connect to our Redis database. Then we need to create I'll cut this. I'll add it here actually. And now we need to create our model. So we will want to create a task that this will extend from hash model. So let's import here hash model. And this task is a part of the hash model. And let's add the values for this document that we want to store it in the database. We want a name, which this needs to be a string, and a complete field, which this is a Boolean value. And to assign this model to this database, we have to add here class meta, and the database will be equal to this Redis DB. And that should be it. So let's see if we have any errors. So we don't have any. This means that we successfully connected with the database and we created this model. And here, now let's return all the tasks. So to return all the tasks here, simply call a task class that all primary keys. So this will return all the primary keys of this task. And I will save this. No errors. I'll go to the React app, refresh here, and we don't have a problem. So I'll inspect here, or I will go directly to localhost port 8000/tasks. So indeed we return an empty array, but this time is from querying the Redis database. Let's create another endpoint to create a task, and then we will check what this endpoint returns. So I'll create another function, create, and this will be a post request to /tasks again, and this will be super simple. So as a parameter we will send a task as a task, and we will return directly task save. Super simple. Let's see if we have any errors. So let's restart this. So the params that we will send, so in our React app we will send here the name. It will be created automatically here, but we will have a problem which we will fix. We will not send a complete field here. We will only send the name. So if I create a task, I think we should have a problem, which we did. Did we have so we have a problem here, and the problem, let me send it again, is that the complete field, it is required. That is a problem. So to solve this problem, I will make the complete field optional, and to do it we have to import here optional, not here. We need from typing import optional, and this complete field is an optional bool, and we have to assign here the default value, which should be false, but this will also throw an error. So we should not initialize it as false or true, we should initialize it as an integer. So false is 0 in this case. And that should be it. So I save this. We still need to restart this. And I'll restart the React app and let's create a task test here. Add, and we successfully got the task. So this has been completed successfully. But if we refresh, we will not see anything because the response will return only the primary key and not the actual object. So I haven't figured out a function that returns all the tasks with all the fields, and the way that I found out is I have to loop all these primary keys and to loop again to get again the task one by one. So what I will do is I'll create here a function format. This will get the primary key as a string, and I'll cut this. This will return an array. We will call a format function for primary key in all the primary keys here, and I will pass here the primary key. And the response that I want is like this. So task is equal to task get this primary key, and we will return a response with I don't want to return it as a PK, a primary key. I want to return it as an ID. So task dot primary key here, sorry, name will be task name, and complete. Let's add here quotes. And here also will be task.complete. So with this, I will save this, and our app is running fine. If I restart this, we will see that we are returning an array of objects just like I wanted. And in our React app, it will work fine. So we successfully created a task. We can create another one, task 2. It will add it here in the end, and if we restart, we will see 2 tasks. Now we want, when we check here, to send a put request to update this task. So we need to update the complete field. And if we restart, we want that to be checked. So let's add another endpoint, async update here. And this will be a put request to /tasks/ the primary key here. So this is tasks. So we want to get this primary key, which we get it by adding it here. So primary key as a string. And by that primary key, we want to get the task, which is equal to task.get with the primary key. So that's it. But we won't send the task like we did when we created. We will send only the complete field this time. And instead of task, we will send here the request. So let's import request from a starlet request. So this is the import, and we got the request, and to get the values from the request, so we want to get the body, we need request.json here. But since this is an asynchronous function and this is also asynchronous, we need to await here. So to get the values, we have to await request.json. And inside this body, we will have the complete field and our task that complete is equal to body complete, like this. And that should be it. In the end, let's return task, save, and that's it. So this is how we update a task, and also this is how we get the data from the body. There are two ways. One is to put directly the object, and the second one is to put a request here and to wait for the request JSON. I'll save this. So we had an error. I will restart it, and I will check task 2. So we have an error here. Not sure what is the error. So it expects the complete field to be an integer. So I will convert this to an integer like this. So that was the error. Now it was restarted. I'll restart also this. And now we didn't have the error. And if I refresh the page, we can see that the check is still here. So we can switch the check, and this is working fine. And now the last functionality is to delete a task. Let's add the endpoint, async def delete. And this will be a delete request. So up delete, this is the same. And to delete a task, it is really simple. So task, first we have to get the task here. We need also the primary key inside this function. So primary key is a string. And after we get the task, we will return task delete. And that should be it. So if we delete task 2 here, I'll type OK. This will be removed. And if I refresh, we will see that that task is removed. Not sure why this is checked, by the way. So that is not a problem, I guess. And that's it. So this is how we create a CRUD functionality with Python FastAPI and RedisJSON. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.